All right, welcome back. So no crashes to desktop so far. Knock on wood. Fingers crossed. We are descending at a 17,600 feet. ATC's been a little squirrely. They did give us the descent direction. We were cruising at 30,000 feet. They ordered us to descend to 20,000. Then they cleared us down to 8,000. Then within like 10 seconds, they cleared us down to 2,000. That's a little alarming because I checked the approach charts, the approach plate for this runway, or for this airport. It's like 2,400 feet is the MDA, the minimum descent altitude. So I'm a little alarmed that they've cleared us down below that. So I'm fully prepared, as I mentioned in the last video I took as we were cruising through the clouds. This runway has, in real life, a published non-precision RNAV approach. That is not in flight sim. So I hand inputted it using the FPL function here. Flight plan function. I inputted the waypoints associated with that official RNAV approach. So it remains to be seen how ATC is going to handle that. I'm fully prepared to take control of this airplane and take over the approach and landing as the pilot in command. We are 12 minutes at our current speed from touchdown. We're obviously going to continue decelerating. So it'll probably be more like 15 or 16. Always try to take a second just to appreciate the unbelievable graphics. We're getting ready to descend into the clouds. As I suspected, it is still daylight, thank goodness. But I'm not able to access the AWOS, the Automated Weather Observation System. For whatever reason, when I try to program in the radio frequency for that, which is 125.800, if anybody knows how to activate COM 2 instead of COM 1, I would love to know, because when I try to activate that frequency on COM 1, it just switches back to the default frequency that it wants to be at for approach control. So I don't know what the weather is at Dutch Harbor. So we're going to find out. But it's every possibility that we're going to have a IFR approach completely. I mean, it could be clouds down to the deck for all I know. We're good on fuel. We're 5 minutes and 21 seconds from this waypoint, Aleut, at which we're supposed to be at 3,600 feet by my reckoning. We're at 13,000 feet now, so that means we need to probably increase our descent rate. That's putting it mildly. If we descend, for example, at, let's just say 2,000 feet per minute, and we know we're 5 minutes from that waypoint, then we know that it's going to take us 10 minutes, that will take us down 10,000 feet. Which would be fine. Because that would put us actually below it, where we need to be, 3,600. So I'm not too terribly concerned with our descent rate or anything like that. I am a little bit freaked out by this approach. Again, again, just taking a look at it. This is us. This is where we're headed. Aleut. This is what's now 4 minutes and 2 seconds away. But if you look, you'll see why I'm a little. It's a weird approach. The runway goes this way. The approach. So we're gonna have to, I don't know, hang a short right and then a hard left. We'll see. Descending into the clouds now. Got to keep an eye on icing. You're already seeing it starting to appear here on the windshield. And just like that. Boom. So we'll activate our windshield anti-ice. PADUs are already on, of course. Prop de-ice also on. Wow, what a cool effect. Please don't crash to desktop. Please don't crash to desktop. Now 3 minutes, 18 seconds from Aleut. Got our descent rate a little more aggressive. Completely IMC right now. Completely IMC. Let's check the wings. We got ice buildup on the wings, so we'll use our airframe de-ice. Boom. Gone, just like that. We're still at the top of this deck, so even though we are in the clouds, there's still some sunlight shining through, but it's fascinating to me to watch how it's kind of very, almost imperceptibly fading as we go deeper into this cloud deck. I'm not gonna lie, this is the most challenging by far approach that I've attempted. 2 minutes now from Aleut. Descending 1,900 feet per minute. Not terribly concerned. We need to be at 3,600 at Aleut. Take a look. 3,600 at Aleut. And apologies if I'm mispronouncing it. And then 2,500 at Iuyo, 2,500 at AFTIV, which is our FAF, which stands for Final Approach Fix, 1,700 at Usuhu. So we're fine. I believe we're fine in terms of our descent rate and so forth. Shallow out our descent rate a little bit just to bleed off some speed because we're still kind of hauling ass. Descending out 1,500 feet per minute. Airspeed 220 and descending. Dropping, I should say. I would like it to be closer to 190. I'm going to zoom our MFD map in a little bit. Go. Oh, that's a cool feature. The sun shining through the clouds. Look at that. Wow. That is... Oh, I hope I don't crash. Okay, look at these clouds zooming by. Ooh, we got more airframe de-icing. Let's break that off. Watch real closely here on the leading edge. These are called de-icing boots. They're literally little balloons that inflate. Wow. Oh my God. Okay, we're starting our left turn from Aleut towards Iuyo. Altitude's fine. Anyway, those boots, as they call them, de-icing boots, they're these little like balloons, and they inflate and they break off the ice that has accumulated on the leading edge. The only catch is that you don't want it to, you actually want the ice to build up a little anyway before you use those. Otherwise it won't crack off. I'm going to shallow out our descent rate a little bit more. Very good news here, because even though we're under a cloud deck, it looks like we're in very good shape in terms of oh my God, what a sigh of relief I'm breathing right now. If you can make that out, there's our runway. So, by the way, it's now apparent to me why they don't want us to descend this way to land. They're going to bring us in over this bay, turn us left, and if they don't, I will, to land. But that's why, if you look at this, you're not coming this way to land because of this. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, things look good. Icing's fine. Let's start to configure ourselves for landing. Shallow out our descent rate a little bit more. It's going to slow us down nicely. I can see just by eyeballing it that we're going to be fine on altitude. So I'm going to hold us at 2,500 because I know that to be the MDA, even though ATC wants us to land. What I'm going to do is actually cancel IFR because
Anchorage Center Dare,
I have the airport in sight.
Cancel IFR at this time. Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo IFR flight plan is canceled. Radar service terminated. Squawk 1200. Maintain VFR. Frequency change approved. Anchorage Center Dare November Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo is type Dare TBM 914 miles northeast of Papa Alpha Alpha Mike. Request flight following. Dare November Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo Anchorage Center. Squawk 0066. Squawk 0066 Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Okay, so
Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo radar contact 13 miles northeast of Papa Alpha Alpha Mike 2,500 feet. Altimeter 29.88. Copy Dare Tree Whiskey Bravo. Papa Alpha Delta Uniform Traffic Dare November Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo 12 miles north 2,500 feet inbound to land runway 1 tree.
check something. Okay, so now we could get the automated weather in PADU. If it wasn't so buggy, I would actually check it. I don't have any faith in it. So it's a Unicom. I'm basically just going to announce that I'm on final.
Papa Alpha Delta Uniform Traffic Dare November Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo.
Put the gear down.
Runway 1 tree to land.
Pop up a little in the seat so I get a better view. Back on the throttle. You can see, look at these mountains. I mean, good grief. No wonder they're bringing us in over the bay, and then I'm going to hook a left. So this runway, it is not directly in front of us like that. It's actually like that. So we're going to get past these obstructions, and then hang a left and go in this way. That's what we're doing. So things look real good right now. Get our landing lights on. Else is on. Okay, good. Confirm 3 in the green. Remember, at this waypoint, AFPIV, AFPIV, we're supposed to be at 2,500. Boom, 2,500. Okay, so we're good. And then I'm going to, as I suspected, have to take over the airplane. We're going to put out 1 notch of flaps at this point, because I think that slowing down a little bit would be useful. And I'm going to deactivate the autopilot, and then, hey, cross your fingers. This is going to be an interesting VFR approach. So as I said, we're going to take that right turn over this bay. We're going to keep an eye on our airspeed. Obviously, that's no joke, so you can see why they're having you do this interesting approach over the bay. Well, there's apparently no tower for me to speak to get permission to land, but I've on what's called a Unicom type airport, you just announce where you are and what your intentions are. Look at that awesome fog on the peaks. Whoa, sweet. Anyway, so that way other aircraft in the area know what you're doing. Something that's this sparsely populated in terms of aircraft, I guess the theory is it doesn't really need a tower because there's so few aircraft in the area. Okay, I have the runway in sight. Remember what I said, that runway is not like this. It was like this, and sure enough, full flaps. Always see a big drop off in airspeed. This is weird. I've gotten used to these long, straight approaches. This one we're gonna have to hang a sharp left right as we go into final. Wow, the water. Amazing. Look at how the white-red tower light or airport light is flashing, reflecting off the water. Unbelievable. Okay, good. So there's our Vasi. I don't know if you see these two white lights right here. They're giving me glide slope information. Here we go. It's a 4,200 foot runway, so this is
Papa Alpha Delta Uniform Traffic Day or November, Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo is on final runway 13 to land.
Not a lot of room for error, but we just made that left turn and lined up. We got red over white on the Vasi. 85 on the approach speed. I don't know if this looks like I'm feeling some wind here. This is interesting. Oh, criminy. This is going to be an interesting landing. Okay, here we go. Let's hit that 1,000-foot marker. This might be a little ugly, folks. Ugh! Holy smokes, we definitely got some wind. Slow it down. Get that reverse thrusters going. Wow. Oh, not a lot of room for error there. Holy mackerel. Okay, so we'll pause here at this limit line and announce that we are clear of the runway.
Papa Alpha Delta Uniform Traffic Day or November, Tree 4 Tree Whiskey Bravo is clear of the runway.
Okay. Oh my god. Switch to taxis. Turn off the pulse. Bring in the flaps. Well, who knows where to park? I'm just gonna take a wild guess at it. I don't know if there's any ground control. Let's see. No, there isn't. Okay, so let's just go find what seems to be a suitable parking space. Wow, that was intense. I don't know if you noticed on final, but it felt like I was getting kicked around by the wind, and I'm just going to park it right here. Look at the light reflecting in the glass. It felt like I was getting kicked around by the wind, and then as soon as I landed, I don't know if I overcorrected with the rudder. I didn't feel like I inputted anything that dramatically. But regardless, I mean, it was freaking swinging all over the place. That was, I mean, hair-raising. I'm just curious to to check what the weather is right now. So on my phone, I'm entering PADU, METAR, PADU, which is the code for this airport. METAR is the current weather information for that area. And yeah, you know, the winds are, they're not bad. 7 miles an hour from the south-southeast, which was a very, not a dramatic crosswind. Well, oh my goodness. Okay, sorry, I'm dallying. Parking brake. What a adventure. Deactivate inertial separator, pitot heat, windshield heat, prop de-ice. Turn off these alarms.
Aural warning, okay.
Sounds like... Oh. Sounds like our fuel pump's on. Yeah, I think that should have been turned off, but oh well. Anyway, okay, get these lights off. All right, so I am in Dutch Harbor for the night. And that was really interesting. Definite wobble on landing. I mean, we definitely either had wind or rudder issues, but I'll be totally honest. I mean, I'm looking at that runway. It's only 4,200 feet long, and I'm thinking to myself, I got to get those wheels down on the 1,000-foot mark, which are those two white stripes that if you watch it again, you'll see they demark 1,000 feet from the runway threshold, and you know you've got to. That's what you're aiming for, and there wasn't a lot of room to miss them. I did not want to have to do a go around if I didn't have to. Not that I wasn't willing to, but a missed approach in an area like this is an adventure, to put it mildly, and I felt like I was able to stick it. It just wasn't going to be a butter landing, and it definitely was not a butter landing. But it was not a landing that was unrealistic in terms of damage to the aircraft. I just realized it looks like our nav lights are still on. Thought I got them. Wait a minute. What? That's interesting. I don't know why these are still blinking. They shouldn't be. These lights are off. Anyway, look at this. Beautiful weather. If you ask me, this is my kind of weather. So we're safe on the ground in Dutch Harbor. Really an adventurous flight. I enjoyed the heck out of it. Definitely my most challenging. Non-precision, have to hand fly the end, not included in the sim. Had to input my own waypoints via the FPL. By the way, I hinted at this, but this is what I was mentioning. Flight plan. Had to input all this stuff myself. Had to input Aleut, the altitude for Aleut, a UYO, the altitude for UYO, the altitude for AFPIV, and the waypoint AFPIV, and so forth. And that's the first time I've ever done that. So that was fun. And then there we are, safe on the ground at Dutch Harbor. Who knew Dutch Harbor had such a short little runway, 4,200 feet, and no tower and no ILS, at least in the sim. Holy mackerel. Anyway, kind of an ugly landing. Definitely not butter. It's way easier to do a butter landing when you have a 10,000 foot long runway. That much I can tell you. But I'm still pleased and had a great time. So this rights the wrong of the earlier crash to desktop that ruined my whole afternoon when that happened. Anyway, okay, I'll shut up. Turn off the heater. Don't need the heater on anymore. That's it for now. Adios.